just like that, we are live. How are you, Eric?
I am fantastic today, sir. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing good. It's Friday.
TGIF.
TGIF, buddy. Can't complain on Friday. Clocked out early. Never,
Nice.
never a bad thing. Never a bad thing. Getting the weekend started. And next week, I'm off to Hawaii.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a pig for Thanksgiving.
Flight, yep. Flight heads out 7 a.m. Sunday morning, bright and early.
Nice.
Yeah, 7 hour flight with a 4-year-old should be fun.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, you got any big plans this weekend?
No, nothing big at all. Probably
Yeah,
shoveling snow.
shoveling. So that's right, Alaska. Ugh. And this is the time, right? It starts really accumulating right now. It
I mean,
starts
not for nothing.
getting going.
We've had it relatively easy so far this year.
Not
Yeah.
bad. Why?
One
Can't
big
complain
snow.
about that.
Yeah, one big snowfall was about 8 inches, but I mean, I ain't gonna lie. We got a snow thrower, so it's not really that big of a deal.
Oh, okay. So that's one of those machines where you just kind of stand
Hell
behind it like a
yeah.
lawnmower.
Yeah.
Okay.
Grab your
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
coffee and yeah, it does all the work.
Yeah. See, us Pacific Northwesterners, we don't.
You don't have to shovel the rain.
No need for. I mean, unless you're in. There are some areas in Washington that get pretty heavy snow year round. So, well, close to year round. So,
Uh-huh.
but anyway, yeah, we're doing this space today on psyops
Super
because,
interesting and pertinent topic.
yeah, it's really weird how, because you had pointed me to that Y Files episode that just dropped. What was it, a few days ago?
Yeah, I think it might have been yesterday or the day before.
Okay.
It
And
might have been
I
a few days
just,
ago. Actually, I'm sorry because I
yeah,
clipped it, so I forget exactly when it dropped. But it was within this week.
I had no idea. And I did
Mhm.
a psyops thing, right? And a whole thing on psyop because Chase Hughes was on Sean Ryan.
And that was kind of what they were covering, also.
Right. And he references Chase Hughes. And I'm like, oh my God, talk about synchronicities.
hmm
So
hmm
I'm not going to shy away from a synchronicity. I'm going to lean into it.
Right?
And I think what I want to do really is kind of start a class. You know, we got our deciphering TV project coming up,
hmm
folks. And I've been thinking kind of big picture programs and things like that because it's going to have a lot of space and time to fill. And one thing I've been thinking about beyond the little sneak peek project I shared with you earlier was, and it kind of ties into that, was ops, right? Was how social media is the battleground and it's where the conversation is taking place. And so, of course, it's where they're going to try to control the conversation.
Yeah, I was saying something in the chat yesterday or today. Like, I remember, when the internet was coming out. Like before it was coming out,
God,
but they were,
yeah.
giving us a heads up that it was coming, right? And I remember there being like, newspaper front page headlines that were, marketing to us that it's going to be the information super highway. And I would say
Yes.
that's a close to an
Yes.
accurate title. I think what we've experienced is the disinformation superhighway.
God. And we've lived through this evolution where it's almost like we've seen it. There was a time, folks, believe it or not, when you could type in a search engine. At that time, I think I was using Yahoo, and you would look for a fact, right? Like, hey, how many people live in Zimbabwe? And it would return that information, right? It would come back, hey, here's a couple websites. The population of Zimbabwe is this. Now, hey, what's the population of Zimbabwe? What kind of results are you going to get? Like, they're going to be all over the map. There's going to be people arguing about the population of Zimbabwe. There's going to be conspiracy theories about the population of Zimbabwe. You know what I mean? And
Zimbabwe products half off.
exactly. And not to knock Zimbabwe, okay? If you're from Zimbabwe, you're watching the show, thank you very much. We love Zimbabwe, okay? But I'm just using it as an example. Like, that's they can control everything we're looking at now because that's what we're looking at, right? And I kind of made this point in the last space was that you're participating in this whether you want to or not.
Yeah.
So you don't have a choice. If you use, even if you're like, well, I just update Facebook with pictures of the grandkids once in a while, and that's about it. Okay, you're on Facebook, you're on social media, which means they have all those things that you agree to when you sign up for that app, and you read those, right, Eric?
Oh, yeah, every syllable. And I'm completely agreeable, obviously.
That's it. You're like, I just want to hear music, and
Uh,
they have a 68-page user
I have
agreement.
no
Yeah,
problem
I'm
with
gonna.
somebody turning my camera on and microphone on at their discretion to make sure that they get me the most appropriate ads.
Yes, and that is what we're doing, folks. That is what we are doing. We are
And if they want to
giving.
share it with third-party people that are exclusively using it for my benefit, I mean,
Yeah.
how could that possibly be to my detriment or used negatively?
Yes. Exactly. And we're all
Uh-oh, I
doing
think
it.
I turned into a psyop now, Gabe. What's going on?
We're all doing it. We're
It's
all doing
contagious.
it. Yeah, it is because like I said, it's in all of our. Unless you're rocking a flip phone, which hey, props to you if that's what you're doing. But unless you're rocking a flip phone, it's all there. It's all in your pocket, and you're walking around with it voluntarily. And now with these guys, we got the wearables, right?
Oh,
So now,
Jesus.
oh yeah, so
Now they
now
got you.
they're
They got you,
just
Gabe.
everything I do.
What's your heart
Everywhere I
rate?
go.
What's your respiratory rate right now?
How do
The
I
gauging,
react to things?
when you look at something, it knows what you're looking at. It knows your reaction. Is Gabe
Yes,
excited? Is Gabe agitated?
right,
Did
right.
Gabe?
It
How many
knows
seconds
all these
passed
things.
before Gabe clicked on this link for an ad for a discount on something that Gabe's interested in?
Yeah, and
How can we
listen,
tighten up that ad so that he clicks faster?
right, and we're willing to give these things. Obviously, I am willing to give these things up for the cool part of it, right? The gadgetry part, the fun part. Um, what's a shame is that fun part is tied to so much personal data.
Hmm.
And, you know,
Stuff that used to be considered private.
right.
Stuff they
I,
used to have to get a court ordered subpoena to get
yes.
it,
And I
and
don't fear,
now we give it away.
right. And I don't feel like, especially Apple, right? When they got asked, subpoenaed for a way to hack their phones, they're like, no, we're not. We're not doing that.
Right.
Well, you don't want to help find terrorists. And they're like, that's not the case. So like it's not
Yeah, but
necessarily
at
the
least they're not signing
companies.
a terms of service that they had already volunteered it away, unlike the people utilizing the technology created by them.
Like me.
Yeah.
So they had it wasn't necessarily the company in that case because what they did is they found some way to get into that phone. And the data was there. So the problem isn't necessarily the companies providing the service always. The problem can be people hacking that data and getting that data. And we all know the government would never misuse our data. Although there was that one guy, something Snowden, I think he had reported on maybe the government listening to phone calls they shouldn't have been or something like that, right?
I believe there was something in that regard.
Something about that. Yeah, something about listening to like all of America's phone calls.
Was it Eddie Van Snowden?
Eddie Van Snowden. I fucking love Eddie Van Snowden, by the way. God bless that man. God bless that man. And the thing about Snowden is he didn't just do what a lot of these yahoos do and just put everything out there. Like he actually thought it through. He got what he believed was a responsible journalist, and he's like, hey, I don't want anybody to get blown up because I'm leaking this, information. So you all need to vet this because we don't want to put anybody at risk. But Americans still need to know. And that guy's still wanted, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. He's still out on the lam.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And he
For
did
trying
this
to help
country
us.
a service. Yeah.
Yeah.
He did
Yeah.
this
What they were
country a
doing
service.
was illegal, and he ratted them out for it. And I mean, technically, that's doing the right thing for we the people.
Technically. Yeah. But they got him technically.
Yeah. Heaven
And
forbid people have morals nowadays.
right. What's crazy is in the military, you do have to follow orders, but you do not have to follow unlawful orders.
Right. Or technically immoral orders.
Well, then you're getting in a gray area.
I understand that, but I mean, when I was in like that was actually clarified.
Really?
Yeah, like
See,
if it was
not
illegal
me.
or immoral.
Yeah.
To
With
a
us,
point. I
it
mean,
was just legal. Like, that was it. That was the line. So that's interesting. But and we both went through. Well, I was Army. What you were Navy, right?
Navy.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, a little.
I
bit
guess we
different
had
training,
morals
I'm sure,
in the
too.
Navy game. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. You ever hear the joke about the Navy guy and the Army guy that go to the bathroom?
Nope. Sounds like a plumbing joke too.
There's an Army guy taking a piss at the urinals, and Navy guy walks in, goes piss, and Army guy wraps up and goes to leave the door, and the Navy guy turns around and goes, "Hey, in the Navy they teach us to wash our hands after we take a piss." And the Army guy goes, "Well, yeah, but in the Army they teach us not to piss on our hands."
Oh, good point.
It's an old one. It's an old one. It's a classic.
Uh-huh.
But yes, there's a lot of funny jokes between the services, folks. If you haven't,
Oh, absolutely.
it's all in good fun.
Mm-hmm.
One thing we haven't done. Well, I'll get into that later. So, back to the subject at hand. Of all the projects I've thought about doing, this is the one I'm really excited about because what I would like to do is kind of present this as almost a training, right? So we're going to talk about what is a PSYOP.
Army training, sir.
Army training? Yeah. So we're going to talk about what a PSYOP actually is, how to avoid falling into a PSYOP, signs that you're in the middle of a PSYOP, and what to do if you think you're being manipulated in that PSYOP.
Excellent.
Some of the most common PSYOP techniques that you'll encounter as well. So we're going to cover a few things, and this is just going to be an introductory sort of, I hate saying class, conversation, right? This is of many. And
How about the word familiarization?
Familiar, exactly. Yep. So, I mean, this is a broad stroking overview. And as we have further conversations down the road, we're going to get into like the history of it. We're going to get into actual real life operations that we've seen and how those tie to some of the indicators and things we talk about today. And application. We're going to look at actual application of it, possibly in real time. So I think it'll be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about this project. And so, yeah, welcome y'all. If you haven't been here before, make sure and share the space. And if you're on the YouTube, subscribe and like and all those fun things.
Well, you should
and
tell
I'll
them
guess-
where to specifically. So you're with Gabriel Speaks because we're technically
That's right.
simulcasting. So
oh my God, I totally didn't even think about that.
So we
yeah.
we have combined audiences here. So
Okay.
if you're from the deciphering.tv audience, make sure you check out Gabe at Gabriel Speaks, both on his YouTube page and on X.
Look at you knocking it out. That's awesome. And if you're on the Gabriel Speak side of things, make sure you go to deciphering.tv and also at deciphering.tv on X as well. Is at
It's
deciphering TV,
Eric
right?
Eric J. Hecker at deciphering.tv on X,
Okay.
and then the website deciphering.tv, of course.
There we go.
Because teamwork
Okay.
makes the dream work, folks. And this
Teamwork
is how we
makes the dream
fight the
work.
PSYOP. We the people can overcome by working together and breaking the matrix.
That's right. That's the main thing is if you're watching this and you have something good to share, please throw it in the chat. If you want to DM me, send me a personal message, talk about anything that you're worried about, concerned about, that you want to point out. That's what this is all about. This is sharing with each other to stay aware, because it's very clear that I showed up late to this party on UFOX, and that there have been some bridges burned, and a lot of that probably has to do with these psychological operations. Because the thing is, somebody doesn't have to talk to you directly to be pulling off a psychological operation on you. They just have to know you. That's it, really. So if someone in the UFOX community was getting close to the truth or some kind of answer, and it was someone's job monitoring all that to keep them away, Eric, what do you think they would operate on U.S. citizens?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
I
I
read over the documents that you're going to go over with the audience today, and
mm-hmm.
I think this is a great intro or familiarization to the problem. There's a couple of things in there that I would say, in my experience being here on X and in the spaces, are, for lack of a better term, weapons of this activity that are wielded with great frequency.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I don't want to make everyone paranoid. I just want to make everyone aware, right? Yep. And because a lot of this is about slowing down, taking a breath, and analyzing the situation that you're in. Because that is actually one of the key tools.
Can we monitor your respiratory and circulatory rate and display that for the audience as we go through this? See which parts are agitating you.
I don't know. Did you ever see that movie about Neil Armstrong? I think it was just called Armstrong or something.
I did not.
So it was like a joke, I guess, in NASA. Like his heart rate would like never get over 60. Like he could be like, yeah, he could be like in an airplane crash. His heart rate would be like 58. Mm-hmm. Just crazy. Mm-hmm. Okay, PSYOPs. Now, Eric, I was going to ask, as you find yourself coming into this X spaces as well, you just described you see this stuff in spaces. Mm-hmm. Is there anything else that you're recognizing that might be considered a possible psychological operation, or things that you look out for with your experience coming in here?
Sure. I think one of the things that I came into here with knowledge and experience on was an activity or a group known as COINTELPRO. And that's when basically, the powers that be, which by definition, any faction that wants to manipulate information or perception, perception management, okay. Right?
Yeah.
If I wanted to control a topic that you're interested in, I would actually send agents and operatives into both sides of the argument that appear to be diametrically opposed. And that's something that I see that's rampant in the X and X spaces community, is what I would say appears to be COINTELPRO type activities, where we have these factions fighting with each other all the time in front of us, right? I could an X space and I can listen.
Sure. Absolutely.
And I can see that there's one side arguing this, the other side arguing the opposite, and they're constantly always arguing with each other,
Mm-hmm.
which is indicative of a COINTELPRO activity. That they
Right.
basically they put a margin here and a margin on the other side of the paper, and they control the narrative that's in between
Mm-hmm.
the two margins by being the
And they've
loudest mouth on this side and the loudest mouth on that side. And heaven forbid you discuss anything outside of the margins, then both parties will attack you and say you don't understand the conversation at hand.
right,
And
and they've
the
got people
show,
on both sides.
the people on both sides
Both sides.
technically are working together.
Right. And what's the advantage of that?
Controlling the argument. It's like when we look at our political monster. Gabe, who's better, the Democrats or the Republicans?
Neither.
Right. But those are the margins of control for our political beast.
Right.
And if you
They
start
give us
discussing
two
things
sides
that
to
are
choose
neither
from.
right, if you start discussing things that are outside of the margins of what the Democrats and Republicans have put in as the boundaries of the conversation, well, now you're a lunatic. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't follow politics. You don't understand
Right.
how this guy is so good. And then
Not
the other side will attack you
educated.
and say, this guy obviously doesn't know what's going on because he's not discussing any of the bullet points that we have forced down everybody's throat.
Yes. Right. Absolutely. What a fantastic point. COINTELPRO, and it's an old program, y'all. It's one of the first kind of CIA programs that worked
FBI
here.
officially.
Oh, was it started in FBI?
It was officially an arm of the FBI.
Okay, my bad.
They got outed. I believe it was in the 1975 Church Senate subcommittee hearings.
Okay.
And if I remember correctly, the verdict was you are no longer allowed to operate under the title of COINTELPRO.
Oh, what? So you can't use the name anymore?
That's correct. You're gonna have to come up with a new name for that BS.
Sometimes that's the hardest part. Coming up with a good name.
Yeah, that's what happened when
COINTELPRO is a really good name.
Yeah, and that's what happened with the attempted assassination of Jimmy Carter. It was a name problem again. Do you remember that one?
Do I remember that? No.
There was an attempt on President Carter's life. There were two assailants.
Well, this wasn't in any of my history books, Eric. So
right. So do you remember the guy that they said killed Kennedy?
Oswald. Yeah.
Can you give me his full name?
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Oh, okay, interesting. That you said Lee Harvey Oswald?
Isn't that his name?
You're correct. So now there was two assailants involved with the attempt on Carter's life. Their names were Raymond Lee Harvey and Oswald Ortiz. Raymond Lee Harvey Oswald Ortiz.
Yeah.
Little name dilemma there again. I almost think like
synchronicities
the assassination teams have like a wheel of names for the assassons.
Oh shit!
And they're like, okay, spin the wheel of names. And like, you got to be kidding me! It landed on Lee Harvey Oswald again. Son of a! What are we
how
gonna
many
do
ways
now?
can we use Oswald?
Yeah, well, you know the rules of the wheel. So what are we gonna do? All right, we gotta work around. What we'll do is we'll put two guys down there, and we'll split the name between the two guys. So, and somebody change the names on the wheels next time we spin the wheel. We gotta get new names on the wheel before we spin it.
Wow. So, wow, that's insane. Okay, and so what happened with Carter? Well, it didn't. Obviously, it didn't work out. How were they planning on killing him?
I forget exactly how the attempt went. I believe it was another some sort of shooting that got thwarted. But the concept being was that at the time, Carter was attempting to be against the deep state. Then the assassination attempt occurred, and then he flooded his cabinet with CFR, Council on Foreign Relations, and Trilateral Commission members.
It's interesting. I did a documentary on Thomas Crooks, the attempted Trump assassin.
Okay.
From Pittsburgh. I'm sorry, from Pennsylvania, not Pittsburgh. And just last week, Representative Burchett said he thinks that Thomas Crooks was a operative, that he was
Get out of
brainwashed.
here. No way.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it
To
be
hear a
weird if the
representative
next
say
Wouldn't it
that.
be weird if the next assassination attempt, the shooter's name was Crooks Thomas?
Oh, I wouldn't even be surprised, Eric, to be honest. We're like, oh, here we go. Okay. Of course. So yeah, that I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
because
give.
and
This is all a
they have
concept.
that video buried in the
Mm.
algorithm. It gets no views. Like it's just buried. And I haven't done really. It's funny what videos get a lot of views and what videos don't. It's really obvious to me how they choose which one of my videos to like promote or put towards the top ish and not, or at all. So yeah, I think that's obvious to a lot of streamers that have been doing it for a while.
Yeah, if
You
you're
see
a
the
content
subjects.
creator, you understand the throttle, or I should say, the brake that could be applied. The throttling.
Yes, it's very real.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, folks. What is a psyop actually? So we say the word, we say the name, psyop, 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 psyop. What is it? Well, a psyop is an operation that's designed to influence the way that you think, feel, or do. It uses emotions as the primary weapon. So we were just talking about emotions a couple minutes ago. Emotions are the primary weapon of psychological operations. Just like if you can hear my dog barking right now.
He's very sad.
My emotion is getting
So this is why we need to have your respiratory rate and heart rate up right now.
yeah,
So,
just alert on the
son
watch.
of a dog.
Okay, so who can use psychological operations? Anyone can use them, y'all. Governments, agencies, corporations, activists, coordinated online groups. Imagine that. And what's the goal? It's to steer your behavior without you realizing it. So I'm going to. We were just talking about that Wi-Fi. I gotta quiet this dog down before I really do lose my mind.
Why don't you be like that other guy that I saw on the internet that shocks his dog on air? Did you see that guy?
What? No.
Yeah, he caused outrage like a month or so ago. Like the dude was a straight up lunatic. Like the dog like has to sit down on the ground next to him during the show, and if he like moves or making noise, the guy just straight up is like, bzzz, like
No.
yeah. People went bonkers, which I appreciate, but like this is the level of lunacy in the world.
What a piece of garbage.
Exactly. Yeah, go kick your dog in the nuts right now, live on air.
It sounds like he's calmed down, so I think we're good. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to continue then. So that's what a psyop is. All right, it's an actual operation. We're not talking about propaganda. Okay, that's a totally different, separate thing. This isn't propaganda.
Yeah, I would say propaganda would be an aspect of psyops potentially.
Sure.
An aspect.
Yeah, absolutely. It could be one portion of it. But
nobody cares. Everybody loves animals. Nobody's bothered by your dog barking. Okay. I think it's great.
All right.
Comment.
So,
like hecklefish.
Oh my gosh. Hold on just a moment. Just one moment, folks. This is why live streams are fun, right? Okay, I'm going to play this. This is from the Y Files, and I'll be right back.
4 out of 5. Critical details were hidden, like the fact that the letter was organized and signed by Peter Daszak. His organization, EcoHealth Alliance, funded research at the Wuhan lab. He did not disclose that, but his emails prove it. Financial gain, 4 out of 5. If the lab leak was true, funding for gain-of-function research would be at risk. So the Natural Origin is Settled Science campaign scored 70 out of 100. That's a PSYOP score. But now score the other side, the lab leak. Those supporters said the lab leak was obvious. Anyone who denied it was a shill or an asset for the Chinese Communist Party. Authority overload, 5 out of 5. Politicians and commentators were saying settled science before any real investigations were complete. Tribal division, 5 out of 5. They made it a political issue. And by the way, that's how I knew COVID was a psyop from the start. Anytime you see an issue politicized that initially wasn't, it's probably intentional. Remember, at first, all we cared about was a cure or a treatment, but we needed to know the origin of the virus to fight it. But suddenly a health issue became a political issue.
Okay. So we did have to go a little bit ahead because I had to quiet the dog down, folks. I apologize for that. He's talking about that NCI. That is a score that from a system that Chase Hughes developed. Are you familiar with Chase Hughes?
Only vaguely. I just saw that he was on the Sean Ryan show recently. I've yet to watch the episode. I did watch this episode that the Y-Files pulled some info out of. I'm very interested in taking a look at it, but it's oddly somebody that I've been engaging with on X for a little bit, and I don't want to say like
really.
Yeah, like I feel like there's been some communication back and forth between he and I since I've been on X, but I
like messages or just like posts and stuff.
I can't recall. I have to look back, but it's I feel like I've had some slight communications with him, but had no idea who he was.
Yeah.
Right. So like when I saw
happens
him pop
on
up
X,
on
right? It's funny.
When I saw him pop up on Sean Ryan, like immediately I was like, oh, I'm friends with that guy on X. I think we've chatted. But like again, I haven't looked back into the records, so to say, to find out about what.
So he has a program. All right. So first off, just to establish a little bit who he is, we're talking the guy that's so good at intelligence, the government can't afford him, right? They send their guys, they contract him, right? They'll send their guys to him to learn how to do the trade, essentially. Any kind of psychological operation trade, the guy is just a whiz, right? He knows it inside and out. And when you watch that interview on Sean Ryan, you'll see it. I actually did a little video breakdown of that interview because I was so impressed with it. And it was pretty crazy. But he has a program that he will sell online. He'll sell it to you. I think it's like $750 or something like that. It's an entire program about psychological operations and more. And we can't use his stuff necessarily because it's behind a paywall, right? And it's copyrighted. But we can say this is sort of what it's like. That's, oh, hang on. Let me get the other screenshot here. I think that was the wrong one.
It looked to be correct.
Did it? Hang on.
Yeah, it was the detection checklist.
Okay. Yep. Very good. Okay. So this is the detection checklist. All right. So this is a NCI style PSYOP detection checklist. Number 1, check the source. Is the source anonymous, vague, or unverifiable?
Almost every post that you see on social platforms, right?
Amen, brother.
I'm sharing this. Look at this video that was released. Released by who?
Right. Just circles and circles. Yep.
Yeah.
And it's almost a microcosm of what the UF community used to be back in the day, where it was the same type of circular reporting, but it was more spread out because, you didn't have the internet. You had conventions and you had books and things like that. So you would see this stuff happen, but it would take time for it to develop and you couldn't really put it together. Mm-hmm. Now we see it happen at the speed of light. Mm-hmm. It's insane. Does the story rely on authority instead of evidence? Cough, cough, Avi Loeb. Cough, cough, Gary Nolan.
Cough, cough, the entirety of UFO disclosure contemporarily. Credentials,
Right.
credentials, zero actionable intelligence.
Right.
No evidence.
Yes. Yes. Now he's not
I shouldn't
talking.
say no evidence. Crap evidence and lies, even worse, from the
Yes.
authorities, right? The
Yeah.
credentialed folks put out crop circle images,
Yes.
first claiming them to be UFOs, put out images
Right.
that they call aliens, but it turns out they're unfortunately deformed dead children,
Yeah.
right?
Pretty
This is the
messed up.
horror show of the psyop of
Yep.
disclosure.
Yep. It's insane. Insanity. And now here's the thing. When Chase made this list, he wasn't thinking UFOs. He
Understood.
wasn't thinking
Right.
UFO Twitter, right?
This
Yeah,
is all encompassing.
this is
This is
just psyops. Yeah,
right. PSYOPs 101.
you got it. It's encompassing. It's all groups. All
Mhm.
if you were in a group that they thought you were a possible terrorist, they would use this stuff on you. If you were, in a group, some kind of extremist, anything, any reason. They would need to use a psychological operation on you. These are indicators that you're
I
being.
think there was a book back in the day, I think was called None Dare Call It a Conspiracy. And I feel like we should
Okay.
just swap out the word, like none dare call it a psyop when everything's a damn psyop. How dare you call it a psyop? And I really want to go deep into learning this checklist system that I came across from the Y-Files, but I learned now came from Chase. I feel like we should just have this on our desk constantly, not remove it.
What checklist?
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like this is something that we should just have at the ready for everything all the time. And the split second anything comes out, we just run it through the checklist in 2 seconds flat. Because I think it was only like 20 questions long.
I'm very tempted to just pay for the whole darn thing, to be honest with you. Okay, look for emotional engineering.
Gabe Rockefeller.
That's the big one, right? Emotional engineering. Does the narrative push fear, outrage, guilt, or urgency?
And I think that's something we see rampant in the social platforms, is plucking at people's emotional heartstrings and just that, getting a rise out of them, getting them agitated seems to be a constant. Victim baiting all over the place. I'm a victim, feel badly for me. All of that stuff. It's all emotional shenanigans. I'll be completely honest with you. When call me Gen X, call me a Long Islander, call me a plumber, whatever your situation is. Whenever somebody says that I offended them, the first thing I think of is good, and then I want to laugh. Like as if I care that you're offended. Like seriously, like that's what if you're gonna say, I don't like what you said, you offended me. Like in my notebook, I'm like, mental note, that's how I piss you off if I ever need to in the future. Duly noted.
There you go. Yep, there you go. Because it's an emotional, because the power of emotions. Right. You understand that if you can make someone emotional, you can derail them from anything they're doing.
Right. And to me, it's silly to openly admit those things, because now you're clearly identifying your triggers to people.
Oh, yeah.
Again, like we were saying on the front end of the conversation, like there's certain aspects of yourself that you should maintain privacy over.
Yes.
Don't display your emotional triggers to people.
Yeah, the crying on social media posts. I don't know where that came from, but you probably shouldn't do that. Or any other, the real angry posts or what, any kind of extreme emotion that you're demonstrating. If someone wants to fuck with you in the future, you've just given them some ammo.
Yes. Don't load the weapons of your enemies, folks.
That's right. That's right. Are you being rushed to pick a side? That's a big one.
Yep.
Right. We see that in UFO X and probably any spaces, really.
Constantly they bring up
is it them or me?
They bring up topic and then instantaneously people who have not given their thought on the topic themselves will then immediately turn to you and go, what do you think about that? What do you think about that?
Right.
I see that
And
all the time.
here are a list of terrible things that person has done, and that excuses the terrible things that I have done. So whose side are you on? Right? So anytime you're feeling rushed to pick a side, don't rush me. Right? I don't know. And in fact, I don't even have to pick a side. All right. Spot asymmetry in information, meaning are key details missing, redacted, or inconsistent. An example of this would be the Democrats just releasing a couple of emails saying they involved Trump and Epstein, and then redacting Virginia Giuffre's name, who we already know.
I was even thinking,
why
to
would you
that
do
same
that?
list, or are they actually just straight up incorrect? You know, sometimes information is put out that people may lack experience or understanding of, so that they push an agenda, they present it as the truth, and the audience isn't really already in a position to argue. So I think great liberties are taken in pushing out just straight up incorrect information.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point. I mean, you know, it's a really good example of that, Eric, is any media coverage on Iraq pre-invasion.
Right.
Because they were all singing the same exact tune and all pushing out information. They didn't know if it was true or not. They just knew the White House gave it to them.
Weapons of mass destruction, Gabe.
Yeah.
We gotta find them. WMDs.
Didn't matter if it was true or not.
Yellow cake.
White House said it. Yeah. Yeah. It was crazy. We didn't want the proof to be in the form of a mushroom cloud, I think, is what. Cool. And then that got repeated several times.
Back to a few lines above, you know, the emotional reaction.
Right. If you were completely objective and you had no dog in the fight and you were looking at the invasion of Iraq and the explanation for it and all the actual facts surrounding it, it would make absolutely no sense to you. Because it made no sense. They tied it to a terrorist that had nothing to do with Iraq. So that's Gabe, how good they are.
We had the passports, Gabe, remember?
Right. And the Prince of Saud was just sitting in the White House.
Indestructible passports.
And the
you knew exactly who it
was just sitting in the White House. How about that?
Yeah.
Does the narrative avoid the who, what, where, when, why, the important shit? Right? Don't worry about why we know, why we know there's UAPs in the air, why we know that they come from another dimension, why we know that they're demons, why we know whatever you say you know. We know. We just know. How do you know? We just know. How do you know? Well, if you read this book, this one person said, okay, so you don't know. You haven't had a personal experience. Yeah, pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's more like what they want you to know versus what they do know.
Yep. Trace the benefit trail. Who gains power, money, or influence if you believe this? That's pretty straightforward. Who gains nothing or loses by the truth coming out? Check for repetition across platforms. Is the same phrasing echoed across media at the same time? Do influencers suddenly align with identical messaging? You also want to look for behavior mismatches. Do actions contradict claimed motives? Are spokespeople acting rehearsed, evasive, or overly polished? Evaluate transparency. Are questions welcomed or shut down? Does the narrative punish skepticism? Oh my God, does it ever? right? You don't get to go to that exclusive dinner. You don't get the invite to the exclusive release of Age of Disclosure. You don't get to go to that certain space where everybody's chatting, whatever it is. Examine timeline pressure. This is a big one. Are you being told time is running out? Act now or don't wait to investigate. 2027. Remember? Remember Three Eye Atlas? If it didn't come on, Avi Loeb said if it didn't come on the other side of the sun, it meant it was a spacecraft. But now that it's on the other side of the sun, he's totally changing his story. How's that work? Oh, they're changing it.
Move that goalpost.
Moving that goalpost. Does the story create a simple villain or a one-note enemy? Oh, so much of that going on. Right? And this is scapegoating patterns. So much of that goes on. Is complexity ignored to push a single emotional target?
I think that happens all the time. I see so many people trying to, they say Occam's razor all the time. You know, whatever the simplest thing, you know, must like people go to this all the time. But the simplest answer comes only after the application of Occam's razor. It's not a result, it's a process. So people screw this one up all the time, right? The idea of Occam's razor is that all possibility is on the table always, okay? And then you take Occam's razor and you take a slice off of all of that possibility, and then you look at that thing and you assess. And if you can negate it, then you can throw it off of the table of possibility. But now you have to keep doing that. You have to keep applying the razor, looking at every possibility, assessing and negating and reducing it to all things that remain as possible. Okay?
Right.
People just want to, instead of assessing all of the possibilities with great scrutiny, what they will simply do is look at all possible things on the table, apply no discernment, and then look at what the simplest thing is and say, Occam's razor. That's got to be it. And it's like, no, that's not how this works at all. You've done zero due diligence. You've put in no effort to divide out what is impossible. They just look at all possibility and pick the simplest thing, which is not how it works. And we see this all the time as people just immediately jump the gun and go, well, it's got to be the simplest thing. Occam's razor.
Yeah.
All right. Zero labor effort putter-inner.
Well, my retort to that sometimes is that how many times in your life when there's an eventful thing, how many times was there zero thought put into that? Like,
you mean like when I'm observing an event?
That was a terrible explanation. Let me try explaining it this way. So, let's say I get arrested.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's say I get arrested for stealing a pack of gum. Get arrested for stealing a pack of gum. Now you look at that from the outside, and it's Gabe got arrested for stealing a pack of gum. What a jackass, right? But if you're looking at it in my shoes, there's like this whole story and this whole universe that happened that led up to me stealing that pack of gum, right? Mm-hmm. That's way more complicated than just I'm a piece of shit for stealing a pack of gum.
I think it's more complex than that.
Yo. And that's what I'm saying is like, if they're trying to make it sound like it's simple, that's an indicator. Because how often are big things simple?
Right. Very correct. Is they try to force people into the simplest answer with great regularity also.
Yeah.
Because
And
they're taking advantage of character flaws, and they know that people don't want to do the work, that they're for the
right.
most part lazy, and they will take the answer that they're given versus having to engage the labor to get the answer that's accurate.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I'm hearing on this Age of Disclosure documentary, the New York, I can't remember if it was the Post or the Times, wrote that so they try to make you feel like a chump if you don't believe in aliens in this movie. But there's still no new evidence. And then they said the only chump is the ones that paid to see this movie.
That's the way I'm looking at it, because I am not a betting man, Gabe, but I would have bet good money that zero actionable intelligence came out of this production.
What?
Right? And this
No.
is like, I've only seen a fistful of comments on the social platforms today of people that have observed this production. And from those comments, it's confirming that I would have won the bet. That there was nothing new provided by any of the statements in the Age of Disclosure debacle, pseudo CIA funded, piece of disinformation.
And I'm not surprised at that at all.
Me neither. I predicted it, expected it, and would have bet on it.
Yep. Okay.
But watch how the COINTELPRO operation functions over the next few days in regards to bickering about the value thereof.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we're gonna see some fun spaces tonight.
Yeah, we're gonna hear stuff about, well, they moved the ball. It's good because they moved the ball. And people fail to realize
one step
that,
closer.
right? You can move the ball in a game. It doesn't mean you're moving it towards your goal. So saying they moved the ball makes me laugh when people say, they moved the ball a lot.
It's a tough one. And it's Dan Farah was out there. Obviously he's got to promote the movie, but nothing he said really gave me any more confidence that it was.
He's got to promote the movie because one of the guys that he's an agent for is in the movie. So I mean, it just makes sense. Like if he's, he's Lou Elizondo's manager and agent, right?
I don't know what's going on there. I thought that was the lawsuit. I thought Elizondo was
because it was there was
threatened to sue over that.
Because my understanding was there was an actual lawsuit.
I couldn't find anything on the books, so I didn't.
Fair enough. That's why I said it's my understanding. I didn't do it. I'm going off of stuff that I saw other people.
Well, that makes me think it was a threat.
But then I also saw plenty of people, if I remember correctly, dark journalists who I very much respect his research. So
he FOIAs all day. Yeah.
Right. So I believe I heard from dark journalists that Farah represents Lou, as a client of some sort.
It was some kind of managing, talent management or something.
Correct.
So, yeah. And I've had a couple of those folks reach out to me. I'm just going to let y'all know right now, stop. I don't want management, talent management. I'm good. Stop. Anyway, okay, getting back to this.
He was going to get his modeling career going all on his own. He needs no management.
So stupid. Okay. Here we go. Where do we leave off? Scapegoats. Check for impossible coincidences. Are lucky breaks, perfectly timed leaks, or unlikely events stacked together? That's an interesting one. Nothing comes to top of mind, but that's a great point.
It makes me think of all the what I call the back padding going on in the circles.
Mm-hmm.
You know, somebody with credentials comes out with information that cannot be corroborated, right?
Right.
Can't be verified. But then all of a sudden, somebody else with credentials who themselves presents information publicly that cannot be corroborated or verified. But they'll turn and say, the other guy's information is true. Trust me because I know and I just told you this. And then the other guy goes, yeah. And trust me that I know that that other guy's information is true.
Right.
That's what's going on in most of these circles is that they're all just patting each other on the back and saying, trust him, trust me, you trust him, I trust him, we trust us.
Yeah.
So trust me, bros.
And they all got the same videotape.
Yeah, that shows nothing.
Right. Identify information control tactics. That's a big one. Are dissenting voices smeared instead of debated? Are alternative explanations misrepresented? Holy shit. Yeah. Yeah. You all have seen this happen in real time. So absolutely that takes place. Assess internal consistency. Do early claims contradict later claims? Cough, cough, Abby Loeb. Does evidence keep getting updated without transparency? Yeah, that's can it be evidence if it keeps getting updated in the first place, right? Check for manufactured consensus. Does it feel like everyone suddenly agrees?
Yeah, from the backpatting committee, once they get a crew together, and then all of a sudden you get the updated information, all of a sudden all of the backpatters chime in. Yup.
You sound like those aliens from Sesame Street. I don't know if you
That's what I was thinking of. Yup. Nope.
Oh boy. Yes. So look for strategic ambiguity. So are terms undefined or kept vague? Are you forced to interpret the narrative yourself?
And constant new terms, right?
Changing terms.
Yep.
UFOs, UAP, right?
Yep.
Aliens, NHI. Terrestrial, extraterrestrial, interdimensional beings. Popular one, demons, right?
There's the new one. Damn those demons.
Measure predictive power. Does the story predict anything that actually comes true, or does it change every time facts shift? Another great point. And like we've all seen this. Eric, I see you smiling. That's probably because you've seen this 100 times, right?
Yeah. I just watched a video before we went on air with Clayton Morris of Redacted, whom I like. I've been on his show a couple of times or so now. But he just had on Brad Olson, who's like, my Antarctica arch nemesis for, the topic of Antarctica. And Brad keeps moving his information around based on me countering it as BS. So I lived at the South Pole Station. He claimed there was a hole at the South Pole Station. I said, there's not. And then he moved the hole over here. And then I said, it's not over there, and I can prove why. And then he moved it. Now it's over here. This hacker guy, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And it's like, all right, Brad, just keep changing your information as I keep, pointing out how ridiculous your info is. But by all means, keep playing games, guy.
So why, when you see something like that, do you think Psyop or just a dumbass?
I think he's a Psyop, to be completely honest, from my years of experience. At first, I just thought he was a rich tourist that was trying to opportunize on his ability to afford a cruise to Antarctica. I mean, lest folks forget, he owns a publishing company and writes books.
This Brad guy does?
Yeah, Brad Olson.
Okay.
So this is bread and butter.
Okay.
I've actually spoken to his girlfriend that went with him on the trip to Antarctica, his ex-girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to get good intel on someone, talk to their ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, that didn't work out for the Clippers owner, did it?
Yeah, right. So basically, she stated that he absolutely was like, honey, we're going to take this trip to Antarctica because then we can corner the market on the conversation. Well,
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, I
understood,
guess.
right? He's a book author. And from what my understanding is, he loves to harp on there being this hole at the South
Yeah.
Pole station in Antarctica. And sorry, I lived there for a year, and everything that comes out of his mouth in this topic, I can decimate the veracity of with great ease. And
Right.
he will continue to keep referencing what he calls witnesses and whistleblowers, and I just keep stating like I appreciate that you didn't live at the South Pole and can get
Mm-hmm.
easily bamboozled by liars
Yeah,
because you don't have the
absolutely.
context. So best case scenario, he's a useful idiot that's being bamboozled by somebody else's psyop. Worst case
Now,
scenario, he's
yeah,
completely cognizant that he's lying and is himself a psyop.
that's what I was gonna ask. If he himself is a psyop, what do you think the mission is? Just to keep you derailed, or the
Yes.
conversation on it altogether?
Yes, absolutely. So in reality, my opinion is that he is part of the psyop, because if he was simply a useful idiot, the very logical information I have from my experience, he would
Mm-hmm.
yield his position and change his mind like a normal human being presented rational, logical information, right? He would just say,
Right.
I made a mistake. You're right. I stand corrected. But since he, for years now, fails to yield to more
Years.
information, years,
Years. Oh,
right? So he just keeps hammering down from his position. So I believe him to be identified as a psyop. I mean, I would love to do a show on that redacted episode with you in the not too distant future, to
yeah.
decimate, go over things in specifics. Because
Sure.
again, this
We'll
is
do that.
dude, it's really easy to see through the BS when you fire from the lens of my experience.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just,
Absolutely.
but I
I
don't
can
want to derail
imagine.
this with Brad Olson's
No.
psyop.
Yeah. We'll.
There are psyops out there, and we can potentially apply this process.
Exactly.
That could be a fun one. Is that we'll
Yeah.
target the Brad Olson potential psyop activity, and maybe we can start getting the ball rolling, because
Yeah.
and when you ask why, I would say because of my information that's actionable intelligence and non-speculative.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
has
Absolutely. Well.
to be a counter operation to my effort,
Right.
which
And
I'm
part of this.
witnessing.
Yeah. Part of this is we want to do real time, real life, real use cases. So
Mhm.
that could definitely be one that we check out
Mm-hmm.
and try to narrow it down, apply the checklist to it, see if
Mhm.
it holds up, that kind of, see where it's, because apparently, like you saw on the Y files, you get to a certain score and your likelihood increases as your score gets higher.
Mm-hmm.
So identifiers, again, if it makes you react before you think, if you're feeling before you think, pause. Don't post.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Take a pause and really think about, why do I feel this way? Why do I have a feeling at all about a social media post? And then second, is it genuine or is it manufactured? Right? Like,
I'm predicting the future right now. I foresee there's going to be an app that engages off of your watch, Gabe, in the future, so that like when you're doom scrolling, and all of a sudden your blood pressure goes up, your heart rate, your respiratory rate, and all of a sudden you start typing really fast, it's going to know, like, oh, he's rage responding to someone right now, and it's going to throttle down the speed of your keyboard so that you can't type out that rage response and hit send so quick. And then you're going to be like, oh, thanks, anti-rage response app.
Yeah, I don't think I like that. I love the idea, but more restrictions? I don't think we need more
Well,
restrictions.
it's self-restricted, Gabe. It's you're choosing
Right.
to pay $9 a month for this app.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, if I
Yeah,
inflicted it
this,
upon
yeah,
myself,
this
I
is
guess.
this is for purchase. By the way, I'm trademarking this right now. If there's any developers that want to work with me, I see this as a way that we can all get along better in the future. This is good.
That's
I just
hilarious.
I just too want to be able to monitor everybody's life systems for their
Crazy.
benefit.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So
Call me Peter Thiel.
emotional emotional hijack equals a manipulation attempt, right? If everyone suddenly uses the same phrase, you should be alert. Anonymous accounts repeating the same story, that's called a signal. If there's urgency, but it seems like it's manufactured, that's a classic psyop, right? Like that's how they get you in the door, is that feeling of urgency that you've got to move, you got to make a decision, you got to figure this out now, you can't wait. And then watching for shrinking acceptable options. And that can be questions, it can be comments, it can be outcomes, but whatever it is, you get less and less of them, less and less options, right? Like people that find themselves in cults, right? You can do whatever you want when you first join. We don't care. Yeah. Then a year later, you can't leave the house without permission from father, whatever, right?
Yeah, it starts out with, yeah, my wife's your wife, everything. Yeah, it sounds great, right? And then eventually it's like, no, your wife's our wife. And you're like, whoa,
Yep.
what
Yep.
happened?
Yep. And that's how they get, I mean, it's this slow manipulation of your emotions, right?
Mhm.
It's not overnight. You see a weird documentary or something with these people that find themselves in cults and you go, God, how did they fall for that? And it didn't happen overnight, right? It happened by this very intentional manipulation. Strong emotion equals a high manipulation risk. And I think Eric touched on that at the very beginning of this, right? If you are emotional, boop, got you on tape being angry about that. Now we know how you get angry.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now we know how to make you upset. Now, if you're saying something really important, I know what to say to derail you. If disagreement equals punishment, it is a psyop. Like 100%. And then just like Eric said, if the goalposts move, someone's shaping the narrative.
Right? Look at what happened during all the COVID stuff, right? If you disagreed, the punishment was you got deplatformed, throttled, demonetized. Yeah, so
it was insane.
mm-hmm.
If patterns reveal truth, study them. Right? So if you got a hunch about something, look for patterns and then study them. That will show you more than you realize. It's going to help you identify what motive is. So this one's pretty important. How to protect yourself, right? So let's say you realize you're in a psyop. You've gone through the checklist, and either an individual or a group is targeting you. You're a target. So what do you do? What do you do, Eric? What's the first thing you do?
Actually, it's so funny that you're bringing this up. So, I mean, obviously, people try to mess with me on the social platforms and get me all riled up and stuff. And I'm cognizant of the activity. So here's the fun thing that I do now, Gabe. Whenever people, comment or make a post that's, incendiary or attempted to, pull on my emotions, I just simply respond with a link to my website.
Yeah.
That's it. Like there's no emotion, there's no agitation. I just like welcome to being a useful idiot for me. Right? Okay, now go make another incendiary comment, um,
Right.
and watch what happens. And then I link my website again. And then they make another comment. I link my website again. And that's no other text applied, just
Hmm.
decipher.
That's kind of your counter. Your
That's my
counter
counter
move.
maneuver, is that you're
Yeah.
not going to get an emotional response from me. And welcome to my marketing team. By all means, continue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
There you go.
make another incendiary post and learn.
Right.
Right.
And yeah, that's the thing is you've been able to make it work for you. That's
Mhm.
huge. And that's a huge part of what you have to do. You have to make it work for you.
Yeah. So now the really cool thing is that when that happens, I don't even get remotely angry. I now love it.
Right.
They're getting the
Different response.
complete opposite reaction of what they intended. So that makes me happy. Like it's
Yeah.
like, yes, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Right.
mean, you flipped the script basically,
Mhm.
and that's that. Yeah, that's huge. That's big. Um. Okay, let's see. Where were we at here? Oh. All right. Yes. All right. So, how to protect yourself? Slow down is the main thing, because if they've got you riled up and they got you emotional, that's right where they want you.
Slow down. Don't move
Yep.
too fast. Don't let that
So
psyop last.
that's the thing, is it's gonna be there waiting for you when you wake up tomorrow and the next day and the day after. So you have time. You're not going to be destroyed by a psyop in a day or two, I promise.
Right. Like just
So
straight up breathe. Like that's what I think of. Like whenever you feel like somebody, whether it's online, offline,
mhm.
right? In an emergency, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
anything's going wrong, where all of a sudden you feel you're getting amped up. Just straight up pause.
Yes.
Breathe.
100%.
There's very
100%.
few things that are gonna kill you in the next 3 seconds.
Yeah. Except for panic. Your panic can kill you.
Right? Or your next decision.
Yeah, or your
You know,
next decision, right?
haste
That's
makes
why it's slow
waste.
down.
Yeah, haste makes waste. Slow down,
Yeah.
pause, breathe, think. Like so, even when I've done a lot of emergency operations. South Pole Station with our radios and stuff and communications. I'm sure you did this in the Army too. Like just regular radio protocols, right? Even in an
Mhm.
emergency, we would tell people like before you cue that mic, think about what you're going to say, and when you do cue the mic, pause before you speak, because technically
Mhm.
the way that radio works is it takes a second for that thing to connect. So if you start talking as soon as you hit that button, the first few words, if not your first sentence, might just be omitted from the process.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
about patience, control, hit the button, wait,
Yep.
breathe before you communicate.
Yep. Absolutely. And same thing here. So okay, clearly I'm being targeted. I got to take a step back, slow down, don't not be immediately responsive, right? The one of the worst things you could do once you realize you're being targeted and you think you know who it is go, "I got you. You so and so, you've been targeting me because X, Y, and Z." That might eventually be the best thing to do, but right now, in these early stages, you've just found out. If you think you know who it is, hold on to that. Absolutely. But wait, slow down. Check the source. Look for incentives. Compare across multiple viewpoints. Maybe you're seeing something because of your biases. right? That's not really there. The most important thing, never let not just fear dictate how you feel, but don't let it dictate your worldview. Why do you think these leaders get on the microphone and they're constantly trying to make us afraid of shit? Right? If it's not one thing, it's another. If it's not war, it's the environment. If it's not the environment, it's, something else that's going to come and be the end of all things.
I have the answer to the question.
Yeah.
You asked, why are they always trying to make us afraid, Gabe?
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with the movie Dune?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Love that movie.
Right. So here's why they're always trying to make you afraid. Because fear is the mind killer.
Yeah.
If they can make you afraid, you're basically not thinking at that point. You're reacting. So fear is the mind killer, and that's a big one for me. Actually, I work in some pretty harsh conditions where things go wrong rapidly, and you just quite simply you can't get afraid. You have to be able to think and think quickly. But like I said before, I'll pause to breathe. I'll collect my thoughts to make sure that I'm not actively engaging of becoming afraid of the circumstances. But that's functioning in disaster.
Yeah.
Can't get afraid.
Can't. Yeah. Fear is the enemy, especially
mind killer,
in
and
these
you
cases.
can't let people wield you into a state of fear.
Right. Because then they've got you, folks. Then they have you.
They've turned your brain off.
Right. So slow thinking is psyop proof. All right. Because the way they get you with the psyop is by getting you emotional and reactionary and fearful. So if you slow down and you don't act afraid and don't react immediately, you're not playing into their hand. Your mind is your firewall. So you're going to have to be the one that slows it down. You're going to have to be the one that says, this doesn't feel right. This feels rushed. It doesn't feel natural. Something's weird. And then if you can't verify it, don't amplify it. Okay, so the end of the world's coming. The end of the world's coming. Oh my God, the end of the world's coming. But if your only source is what somebody else told you, that's not a source. Right? So how do you verify it? You look at things like this. Does this story emotionally push me? Does it hide details? Does it benefit someone powerful? Does it silence questions? Does the story repeat everywhere at once? And does it change facts when challenged? How many
That's what I
times have you
mentioned
seen
about
that,
Brad
Eric?
before. That's exactly what I was mentioning about Brad before, is that he changes his facts when I challenge them with my direct first-hand experience.
Right. Right. And that is, oh my God, like I was just talking about Avi Loeb, right?
Mhm.
He said, I have the video of him saying it 2 months ago. If that rock doesn't cross the other side of the sun on such and such October 29th or whatever, then we're all screwed. It's an alien ship. The stock market's going to crash because my rich buddy told me so. So you got fear. You've got unconfirmed facts, and you've got someone, you've got an authority figure, and you've got someone benefiting. He's asking for billions of dollars. He just needs one little piece of the billions of dollars.
He's scoring pretty high on the Psyop test so far.
He is way up there. He's way up there. 3-Eye Atlas is way up there on the Psyop score. It is through the roof on the Psyop score.
Big time.
It's pretty incredible. Um, so, like I was saying, social media is the battleground. Social media is the arena. It's where this stuff happens.
It is the
So, whether,
disinformation superhighway.
yes, whether you're using it every day, every minute of every day, or whether you open it once a month, if it's on your phone, you're a part of this. Whether you want to be or not, it's not your choice. you, you are a part of this. Um, okay. Chase Hughes. I know you're getting familiar with Chase Hughes, who's amazing. Um, this is a video. So if you go and you sign up, you can check out this free video of a small course, and this is that video here. So it's not technically behind a paywall. I just had to give my email. So let's check this out, folks. This is Chase Hughes.
In this video, you're getting 4 of the most powerful methods that we teach inside of NCI. And NCI is the foundational system that's used by military, interrogators, therapists, CEOs, hostage negotiators, even parents who are just done playing small. These 4 tools that you're about to get are going to give you immediate control over being able to read an entire room full of people in seconds. You're able to spot hidden insecurities and fears and behavioral tells, and also influencing decisions without ever feeling manipulative, and walking into any situation without fear with full internal composure. What we're talking about here is not just theory. This is NCI. This is the system built on over 18 million in research, 30,000 hours of testing, and 20 years of field implementation in the highest stakes environment in the world. These are intelligence agencies, hostage negotiators, Fortune 500 boardrooms, but also moms who finally got their kids to listen, coaches who turned around broken teams, salespeople who doubled their sales in like 30 days. So you can stop being a character in your own life and start becoming an author.
More like a sales
And
pitch.
what does this mean when we say
Oh, but I get it.
over what's going on?
Yeah.
Then we have main
Here we
character,
go.
what's
Okay.
happening room. First, you have characters. And these people are just reacting to what's happening. Then we have lead characters. And these are the people with a little more control over what's going on. Then we have main characters. And the main character is trying to stand out a lot more. And then there are authors. And the authors don't react. They don't beg for attention. They shape the frame. They shape how everyone sees reality, and they bend the outcomes. And essentially, they're installing belief in other people. They control the room, but they do it calmly. I want to be crystal clear here. Whether you realize it or not, 99% of you don't really realize there's a completely different level of reality out there. Tens of thousands of people have gone through our NCI University. They've joined our private groups. They've passed the exams. They've installed the system here. And they didn't need a psychology degree or years of failure to get there. They just needed one thing, and it's access to the system. So many people wait way too long to find out there are just 3 things that determine our outcomes in life. And the first one is observation. This is your ability to read the room, to read the person that you're talking to and actually understand what they need to hear and what they need to be seen as. Then we have communication. This is your communication methods, your linguistics, and the style of communication. This includes, can I read a person and then communicate in a certain way? And finally, we have self-mastery. This is our level of control and mastery over ourselves. And that's what truly gives you that level of confidence and authority, a couple of which we'll be talking about today. And to show you just how fast this works, I'm going to give you 4 of these core techniques from inside of one of our courses. And the first one of these, One of our clients just used last week and closed the biggest deal of his life. So let's start unlocking some of these. This first one is a formula that literally determines your level of authority in any room that you walk into. And this is where you'll want to grab a pen if you don't have one right now. So here's the formula. F equals B times C divided by N. So here we go. Influence doesn't start with cleverness. And I thought that for a big portion of my life. And I want you to be able to learn from my mistakes. Influence starts with your frame. So that's what we're talking about right here. And frame is determined by that formula. Frame equals belief times composure divided by neediness. So how strong is my belief in what's going on and my definition of reality multiplied by my level of composure and divided by how much I need from this situation. So that's how elite operators win before.
I actually think that's pretty fucking cool. Like that last little piece he gave us, I actually thought was really cool.
I think of it as like presence. Like when you enter a room, like what's your presence? What's your, how do you present yourself? What's your level of confidence? And then how do you engage folks? And I think what he said too with the neediness part is I think you can ascertain that a lot with folks, like their need for you to believe what's coming out of their mouth is oftentimes like hanging right out there.
Oh yeah. Or need to just
believe
be heard.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Be heard. Yeah. Like you have to hear what I'm saying. And we get that a lot in the spaces, right? People come jumping in lots of times out of left field. And like, well, let me tell you about me and my experience. And you're like, what did that have to do with anything that was being said? But there's a level of neediness that's presented. And
that's,
I
think that
I'm
that's
an experiencer.
That's what that equation looked like, is if you can kind of, I guess, reduce or minimize your level of neediness.
This type of guy scares me, like when he's talking about this stuff, like I think of like a hypnotist or something like that. These are the skill sets.
Oh, he talks about hypnotism on that Sean Ryan show.
Oh, see, perfect. Yeah, I knew it. Like hypnotists annoy me because
he doesn't. I don't think he does it. Yeah, I don't think he does it, but he knows all about it. I bet
he doesn't call it hypnotism, but I'll bet you it's the same skill set being applied by hypnotists, is the understanding, the observation, the manipulation. That's all a hypnotist is effectively doing, and people can be hypnotized, memorized, manipulated by these tactics. The title is semantics. I'm just talking about the tactics that this guy wields. To me, are dangerous because, like he's saying, that he can walk into a room and convince people of things
in minutes.
Right? He has the ability to ascertain, and this is again agency stuff. So what Neurocognitive Institute, right? I was just in a documentary recently that's called Mind Control, Cognitive Warfare. So this guy's a cognitive warfare specialist, technically. Yeah,
and he's so good at it,
right?
The government can't keep him on payroll.
Correct.
So he's really good at it. Yeah. Okay.
He's a free agent cognitive warfare mercenary.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. Like, $800 for that Psyops survival kit. And actually, at the end of the day, doesn't sound like that bad of a deal coming from this guy.
I just see you in a dark room with a light on your dog. Like, why do you bark? Why do you bark?
Well, he's chilling now. Now he's sleeping, so.
Ever spoken in a conversation.
Yeah,
they truly believe their reality like
drugs.
It is the law. They hold their composure like it is just armor, and they need nothing.
Oh, I love this. The irony of Sean Ryan warning people about psyops.
That is the comment of the day.
Yes, yeah, that wins. That's hilarious.
Nothing from the room. That is true power. It's silent, it's invisible, and it's unshakable. And write this down if you're taking notes. People obey signals they can't even explain. So many people will adopt and instantly fall into your frame if your frame is really strong. And the frame is what determines who dictates what the meaning of any situation is. So let's talk about one more thing here. And this is called a status shift detection. Here's where most training, in my opinion, fails. They're teaching you what to say over and over again. They just give you a bunch of scripts. But power dynamics are already at play way before you say anything at all. And if you can't see the status map of the room in like the first 7 seconds, probably less than that, you're flying blind. So you're trying to influence people whose emotional state you can't even read. So the way that you've been taught to communicate is not just outdated, it's ineffective. So here's one of the core principles of the elite operatives that is critical to this. And I make them say this a lot. I read the room, I don't walk into it blind. So if you're the one that reads the room and you know how to set a frame, you own that reality. It is yours. And 99.9% of people pretty much walk into most situations blind because they don't have the skills of that observation. So let's talk about that observation. This one is called a micro behavior. So the quick win here is to watch someone's face when they're under pressure or they're being asked a question. If you see someone's blink rate increase, and this is how often they're blinking. So if you see somebody rapidly start blinking and they weren't doing that a second ago, if their lips tighten, if the lips kind of squeeze together, or if they touch their face, there's a very good chance that they're leaking out and trying to conceal some kind of tension or stress or insecurity. And it's not just nervousness, that is data. So that's your signal that you hold the behavioral high ground and you are starting to understand the room around you. And most people will never notice any of this. But you are probably not most people. You're learning to become an operative here. And one of the operative identity statements that I have people say on a very regular basis is influence is about detection first, not persuasion. So it's all about, can I read the room first before I start speaking? Because my observation influences my communication. The third method here is called a compliance ladder. And every conversation, I want you to start thinking of it as a staircase. And the first few steps of that, these are called micro compliance. And this is where most people actually lose control. You ask somebody to grab a pen for you. That's a step. You ask them to shift in their seat or to lean forward to look at a contract. That's a step. Or you ask a really focused question. That is a step. And before long, they're walking down a behavioral path that you designed without ever feeling pushed because the steps have been taken at the beginning. So I wish I had 3 hours to explain this to you, but what I want you to walk away here is everything is incremental. Everything when it comes to persuasion or influence can start small and then gradually increase. All right, so this next one is not going to make a ton of sense right away, but I want you to trust me for a second. So let me show you something that, in my opinion, most people are never going to understand. Words don't just communicate, they install beliefs. So I want you to try one phrase. And I wish I had a lot more time to explain why memorizing this phrase might be one of the most powerful things that you can do with this lesson that we're going through here. And I wish I had more time to talk about it and how it works inside of a human brain. But what I want you to do is try this phrase out a couple of times. And I think that once you see what it does, you're going to start using it every moment that you can. And here's the phrase. Most people are just living out stories that they didn't even write. So we talked about authors and characters and all this stuff, but this is a phrase that you'll actually say out loud. That sentence bypasses the brain's defenses and goes straight to identity. And the moment that someone realizes that they have been reciting instead of choosing their life, that's when the brain gets jolted so much that the whole script starts to rewrite itself. And the cool part is you are going to be the author who gets to write that script. And one of the...
That's pretty incredible.
Dude, this stuff is and I'm so digging this. I'm going to be completely honest. There's nothing he said right there that I'm not versed in, and I would say I got it from being a service technician plumber. I did
Yeah.
I did all of the things that he said. Protection,
Yeah.
as you're communicating with people, you watch for the any change, whether it's rapid eye motion, hand move, like you're looking for reactions. Like I have wielded everything that he said. Nothing he said was a surprise to me.
Hmm.
The whole idea of the increasing compliance. I mean, there was a specific company that I worked for. We were trained in that activity on how to like make someone agreeable by starting with the little things.
Right.
It
Yeah.
was the company that I worked for. One of the first things that we did was hand them a fridge magnet, something for free, because studies show that when you give something to somebody for free, they technically feel obligated to give you something back.
Oh yeah.
In the
Yeah.
exchange for us was reeling them into signing up for the repair.
Yeah. Those little mind tricks are
Right. There were more steps involved. Step one was the free magnet. Oh, like there's an exchange. They're agreeable. They don't turn the magnet away.
Yeah.
So there's an agreement had right there, and they're baited by something for free. And then you go, and then you start, assessing, observing, all of the things that he just said. You take all of that, you then start to communicate, and you find other angles to reel them in. Hey, I see that you called me up for this problem. These are the options that we have. Do you have any questions? They start engaging you with questions, which is them still agreeing to communicate.
right. Yep.
There's all stupid little steps, and then you start showing them their options. And, this is one of your options. This is one of your options. This is all that you need done. And I'd be happy to do that for you right now. But, technically, just because your toilet only needs a flapper, I mean, while I'm here, we could go for a total rebuild. And
it worked, right? Like
it totally
like
works.
works.
You're moving people in the direction that is what you desire, and you're trying to see how far along you can get them to follow.
Yep. And I think what he's
Maybe you want a new toilet. How about a whole new bathroom?
And I think what he's saying is like, if you can figure out how to do this, you're certainly going to be able to detect it when it's happening to you.
Absolutely. Which is why a lot of these conversations that I get in with people, I cut people off at the knees, because I'm like, don't act like I don't know exactly what you're doing. And I appreciate that maybe nobody else in the room knows what's going on, and I look like the big a-hole. But I don't care. Because when I sense that somebody's got the machinations of manipulation being applied, and I observe it, I see the tactics all the time being applied. Everything that he is saying, I'm completely aware of.
Yeah, it's incredible. He there's this really interesting part of the interview on Sean Ryan where he was talking about in the 80s where the psychologists were actually causing multiple personality disorder instead of treating it. So like, and he broke down how they would do it. And he broke down how they would do it in like 5 minutes. And it was just the craziest thing. Like, oh my God, they would sit people down and basically walk them into creating another personality for themselves. And then they have split personality. Yeah, pretty nuts. So this is him.
Who's better than one, Gabe?
So this is him. Now that video there, like I said, that was on his website, and so there is that promotional aspect to it. This is a video. How the 1% control reality. So I thought this would be interesting.
Hold on 1 second, Gabe, because I do apologize. I am going to have to dip out because we have a acupuncture person coming over.
Oh, very good.
To work on the dog.
Acupuncture. Okay.
Actually, stand by. I just got confirmation that there's no confirmation for the acupuncturist. So I'll let you know if I have to dip off, because this is a good chat.
That's amazing. I didn't know. Of course, there's dog acupuncture.
Our dog's treated good, Gabe. Not like your dog. You know,
I
we
know.
bring the acupuncturist to the house.
Just got done beating
On
them,
Fridays, on Tuesdays, the dog masseuse comes. And Wednesdays, we have the dog therapist. I mean, I don't, you
The
are,
dog therapist.
yeah. What is the dog chef cooking for your dog?
Kibble.
Kibble.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
You're like a,
yep.
you're like a,
I know.
a dog
I'm the
torturer
worst.
in my book.
Dog torture.
How many kicks did it take to get your dog to stop barking before when you got off screen?
That was about 8. There's another one. All right. Okay. So this is how according to Chase Hughes, how the 1% control things, and this fits right in, I think.
It starts with lies.
Yeah.
In 1951, a dude walked into a bank in Denmark and convinced the cashier to hand over every dollar using just his voice. He hypnotized the bank teller without a weapon, without any threats of any kind. And in 2014, a car dealership manager handed over a brand new SUV to a man who just calmly told him to do it. And later on in an interview, the manager said it just felt like a dream. These people aren't using scripts. They use command of reality, but it does work. And influence isn't about the words themselves. Influence is not about the words. It's about who you are and what you are when you say those words. When you command your own reality, other people fall into sync. And when you don't do that, they ignore you. Let's talk about perception. Perception is more important than power. The lens that you see people through is what determines and builds your personal influence. If you've read the ops manual, you might have understood that there are 4 lenses of behavior, but there are 5. Lens number 1 is people are broken. And in this lens, everything is some kind of pathology. And lens number 2 is people are different. Everything becomes a personality test or some kind of a label.
So this is like, first and foremost, like what he just said before about those people walking in, like, and just getting what they want. Okay.
Yeah.
Through application of intent and voice.
Yeah.
Okay. So straight up, Gabe, has that not been available for all of humankind always? Is that just not simply a technique?
Yeah, it has. Yep.
Right. So that's been available for thousands of years to the practitioners, the adepts of that skill set. I have said this ever since that I've come out. I said the information that I am presenting to the public is about technology that is a bastardized version of ancient techniques. So what they're trying to do is the people that don't have the technique are trying to accomplish the same thing through technology. That's where we're at. That's the problem with the information that I've put out there. What he then just said about the people being broken, again, back to my plumbing career. There was a time when I was an apprentice, and then I got into a truck, and I was a full-fledged mechanic, and, I'm doing work, right? And one of the other technicians that I worked with and trained under for 5 years, he would show up to job sites where it would require a second set of hands. And he was a really nice guy. So he would see me wrapping up the job, but then he would see me like double checking my work, triple checking my work, quadruple checking my work, like basically second guessing myself, right? Just trying to just make sure I don't want to leave this house until I know every single thing is perfect. Right. But technically I'm wasting time, so to say. I'm spending too much time double and triple checking.
Back and checking,
right?
Yeah.
So he pulled me aside and he goes, "Listen, Eric, I see what's going on here." He goes, "You don't have to be concerned." Like, he's like, I helped raise you as a plumber. He goes, "You know how to plumb." He goes, "That is no longer your problem." He goes, "Your new mission, what you have to become skilled in, is fixing the broken people." He goes, "Every single house that you show up to, the people are also broken." He goes, from their perspective, they're having the worst day of their life, or they wouldn't have to call you. That's their perspective. Yeah. So he goes, "You have to understand that you now, yes, there's a plumbing problem when you show up to the house." He goes, "But you know how to fix the plumbing." He goes, "You have to learn how to fix the broken people." And that was a big shift in my mentality in how I engaged people and how I entered a room, how I had presence. I started realizing that it's advantageous for me to walk into that house with the utmost highest level of confidence. I am here because I am right? I appreciate you're having the worst day ever, but you need to appreciate I'm going to alleviate that for you.
Right.
I'm the guy.
Yeah.
Here's your bad day. I am and that's the start of the exchange also, is appreciating that from my perspective, everyone that I ran into every day was broken. And I had to learn how to fix them.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like that dog whisperer, Caesar Milan guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he said. He fixes people and he rehabilitates dogs.
Exactly. Exactly. He knows how to fix. He knows how to rehabilitate the dog because he knows dogs, but he has to assess each individual person that's causing the problem for the dog.
Yep. Exactly. Okay. Let's let him continue here.
It's an ego battle. Lens 3 is people are facts. And this is good because there's a lot less emotion. You don't get pissed off about the crap people do that usually pisses you off. But in this, people are data. They're traits. And it's kind of more cold observations. Then we get to the fourth lens, and this is seeing people as reasons. So we get good at profiling behavior and understanding people's behavior. We start seeing the fuel, the wounded part of that person behind the crazy stuff that we might be seeing. And then the lens number 5 is people are reflections. Every single person that you meet mirrors you. Their screwed upness is your screwed upness. Their brilliance is also your brilliance. And understanding these 5 lenses is not going to help you. Not 1% going to help you. Memorizing all of these 5 things is not going to change you. They have to become your everyday operating system. It has to become your worldview. And until it becomes your worldview, you will not become powerful in the way that you want to be. This is not about influence or anything else. It's about mastering yourself. It's getting to that 5th level. Even the 4th level is fantastic. Until you do that, you're still looking at humans as objects. And that's not influence. That is insecurity wearing a costume. So let me tell you one thing here that I sincerely see way too often. People think influence is about what you do. Even the best sales trainers in the world think this. There are books out there that are nothing more than what to say to people, like word for word scripts to say to people. And that belief system takes 5 seconds to prove so wrong that it's embarrassing. And that's why it's weak. That's why it doesn't land when it should land. Influence is not something you do. It's something that you are. It bleeds out of you without effort when it is in you. And if it's not in you, you're learning these techniques and you're just kind of a child doing silly card tricks. This is why your worldview is the real bottleneck. It's not your technique or your memory, and it's not your little notebook full of cool scripted lines that you wrote down. If you don't become the person, you're never going to wield the power. If I gave every salesperson in the world $1 million and then had them all collaborate and gave them another 100 million and built the best sales script in the world that's ever been built before, and then I handed that script to somebody with no control over their own reality, their own body, maybe they have social anxiety, now that script becomes the worst script in the world. And that is instant proof that words are meaningless without owning yourself. I don't believe in gimmicks, because if you knew what was truly possible, if you knew what you could do, you right now could walk into a room and do stuff like that every day. You just don't have the self-belief or the worldview to envelop that, to be able to hold that reality. If you knew how far this could go.
So
this is great.
Yeah, because it's so true, right? Like when you hear the truth, you just know it. And it's so true on so many levels. What is it? 90% of how people interpret what we say is how we say it and not actually what we say.
Absolutely.
It's all tonality.
Delivery
and
matters.
Yeah. And if you're not seeing the connection here to the PSYOPs, let us help you. So owning, when he's talking about owning a room or whatever, what he's talking about is that confidence to be able to read the people in the room, read the situation and understand what's going on. And if you can do that, you're not going to be susceptible to the PSYOPs.
again, back to my training as a plumber, right? This is cracking me up right now because I used all these techniques. It's so
Yeah,
funny.
they're good techniques.
I had a lot of what I call canned speeches, right? Because you go to so many houses, it's the same problem over and over again. It's the
Right.
same customer in the same broken state, the same everything. And yes, I want to empathize with the people. I would think to myself, if I was in their shoes, what would I want to hear from
Right.
the guy? Right.
Yes.
So you'll get this, right? Like if you have this massive disaster, right? There's sewage all over your kitchen, right? You can imagine how you would be freaking out. Your wife's yelling at you, the dog's tracking crap all over the place. Like just total debacle. I'm familiar with that. I've seen it a million times, right? So I walk in the house. I know you're having the worst day ever. I walk in and go, Gabe, how's it going? What's the problem? Blah, 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 blah. You go, oh my God, Eric, look at this, blah, blah, blah. First thing I look around and go, oh, this is not that bad. I've seen much worse.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, well, fuck you.
Well, no. It's actually very disarming because it goes to that confidence level.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you. So you're
I'm
saying,
literally
like,
telling them, don't worry.
you got
It's
it.
not. Yeah, Gabe, this is not a big deal.
Right. Yeah,
I
that's gonna make
appreciate-
me feel better then.
Yeah, I appreciate. Oh, you think this is a big, huge problem? Don't sweat it. This is
Right.
not even that bad.
Right.
I've seen much worse. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just letting you know things. This is not that bad,
Yeah.
guy. Got you covered.
Yeah.
Gonna have you fixed
that
up.
would make you feel better. Yeah.
I'm gonna have you fixed up so quick, bro. You'll be golfing by the afternoon.
Yep. And you love hearing that shit, right?
Right.
Like if you've been on the other end of that conversation.
Right. When I go to the car mechanic, I don't want to hear it's a disaster. I want to hear it's
Right.
not as bad as I thought.
Yep. All in the messaging, folks. All in the messaging.
And meanwhile,
And that's
it could
what
be
he's
the
talking
worst
about.
case I've ever seen. But I'm not
Right.
going to walk into your disaster. Like, oh my God, what the hell happened in here?
What did you do? You might tell somebody else. I don't even know if I can handle it.
I've never seen anything like this before in my entire life. Yeah, it doesn't bode well for the confidence exchange.
Right.
Yeah, you got to choose your words
absolutely.
wisely. Assess the room.
Yep. So there's that connection. If you can assess things, you're gonna know when somebody's trying to play you, and that's the ultimate defense. Right, is knowing it's happening. And if it happens, there are different ways to respond, and we're not going to go over that today. That's going to be down the road. As I said, and you can see this is, I guess, class 1, but essentially what we wanted to cover here is what a psyop is, and I think we've done that. It's designed to influence what you think. It's not designed like propaganda. You can
Are you
use
trying to make
propaganda.
me think what a psyop is, Gabe?
You can use propaganda within as part of a psychological operation, but a psychological operation is someone you are targeted. Someone is actually running an operation on you to try to influence something. How you feel, what you think, or what you do about a certain situation. We talked about what to do when you realize that's happening to you, right? And the first thing was breathe, stop, pause, slow down, right? When you're feeling
Be
fear,
not afraid.
yes, when you're feeling fear, anger, urgency, you are susceptible to going right down whatever rabbit hole they want to lead you down. Check opposing viewpoints. So if you're listening to someone, you think they might be fucking with you, and they say, no matter what, don't go listen to this person. The first thing you should do is go listen to that other person. There should be no reason why you can't. Signs you're in the middle of a psyop. Same narrative appears everywhere all at once. Facts shift to the desired story. The message leverages urgency. Share now before it's deleted. How many times have we seen that, y'all? Watch this before it gets taken down. You see that post, Eric?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah, once
Yeah.
or twice.
Yeah. Check out this video before it's removed. The censors are coming. They're knocking on my door right now.
Yep.
Going to backup power. They're cutting the lines.
The most common techniques you're going to see, especially on social media: emotional provocation, manufactured urgency, tribal, us versus them narratives. Oh man, that's out there, right? Shaming or isolating, flooding the zone with repeated talking points, conspiracy and anti-conspiracy messaging deployed simultaneously, and artificial consensus created by bots or influencers. The main takeaways is that a psyop will fail if you slow down, you check the context, you refuse emotional manipulation, and you maintain independent thinking. A calm mind is your strongest defense.
Oh.
That's right. Woos. That's right. So at the end of the day, we're gonna have more sessions on psyops, and we're gonna get deeper into it. Today, I just wanted to have a general kind of broad view of what psyops are. One of the people we're gonna use as a tool as we go through this is going to be Chase Hughes, obviously. Hopefully he has enough stuff on this side of the paywall we can extract. But the list from earlier, this list, no, that's not the one. Let me find it. We had a
If
list
I'm not
earlier
mistaken,
that was very
the
close.
video that I had sent you the link for that the Y-Files put up, I believe that they listed his 20 question questionnaire.
No, did they?
I believe so. I think it rates it. I think each question has a 1 to 5 scale. So it's 20
Yeah.
questions on a 1 to 5 scale, which gets you up to your 100 points. I believe they had that in the video. So you should be able to just pull that right out of that video, and we can utilize that to apply and ascertain a PSYOP score.
Okay, yeah.
I think he goes through and asks every single question, all 20.
Does he?
I believe so.
Okay, I'm gonna have to watch that full video then. And
Yeah.
if that's the case, we can definitely
Dude,
just extract it.
get
that way.
those 20 questions and let's start
Yeah.
hammering down on making some PSYOP assessments.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'll be grand.
I agree. So again, key takeaways today, everyone. If it makes you react before you think, pause. Emotional hijack is manipulation attempt. If everyone suddenly uses the same phrase, be alert. Anonymous accounts repeating the same story equals a signal. Manufactured urgency equals a classic psyop. And watch for shrinking acceptable opinions. So it's like, remember when everybody used to say they thought the moon was a base? Oh, nobody says that anymore. Weird, right? And I'm just using that as an example. But things like that, where all of a sudden somebody's kind of accepted something as a fact, and to speak against it is just kind of craziness. Like, I almost felt like I was the one on the bubble saying 3i Atlas was a rock, Eric. People were making me feel like an asshole because I was like, it's a fucking rock. I don't know how else, like, there's nothing that's happened other than Avi Loeb doing a interview every day that indicates
I love turning that right back around on people, and then just like, because obviously they come at you saying that, it's all of these other things, and, and then they try to, well, have you heard this? And I just turn things back on people. I go, so what have you heard that so convinced you that it's not a rock? And then they'll blah, 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 and then I just go, and that worked for you.
Guess so.
Right? Like, that's just, it's as simple as that on almost every one of these topics, right? Because there's the propaganda, there's the psyop. I mean, we all know it exists, and it's like, and people will spew it at you, and then I'll just look at them and say, and that convinced you?
Yeah, it's a pretty low bar,
You
pretty low
found that
threshold.
reasonable and logical. Interesting.
Yeah, right? Very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
So what I was thinking we can do the next time, and this is just, I'm just kicking ideas around here, but for our first real life application, I thought we could do Jake Barber as a test study.
Well, that's what the one that the Y-Files just did them.
Yeah, but we're gonna bring out the
I mean,
text messages, the email from.
You got it. And again, I mean, I got red teamed by him and his crew, so I got a vested interest in watching this guy get more nails added to his coffin. I mean,
and you have testimony and have had run-ins and incidences and
with him and his crew.
Right. So I think that would be a good way to kick us off with our first real life.
Sounds good.
Real life
dude.
op. So we'll get working on
I'm game.
that.
If you want to do stuff this afternoon, this evening, tomorrow, I am pretty flexible.
Absolutely, yeah. Because there's a lot. There's a lot there with Barber that I think is very interesting.
I think this 20 questions thing can be a lot of fun in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So we're gonna get that too. Even if we have to start a GoFundMe to get through Chase's paywall, we're gonna do it. Damn.
It's on that Y-Files video.
Yeah, I'll go through that for sure. All right, y'all. Well, hey, thank you for joining, Eric. Thanks for coming in. As
you got
always.
it, Gabe. Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Absolutely, and the rest of you, we will see
everybody in the
next time.
audience. We had a good participation here, and before we bow out, once again, anybody that's listening on my side, please take a look at Gabriel Speaks. He is now a team member on deciphering.tv platform, as well as his own YouTube page, Gabriel Speaks. He can also be found on X, Gabriel Speaks. It's not his last name, so don't try to, dox him or anything like that.
And yes, same's true. Yep, deciphering.tv. And you can find Eric Hecker on X and at deciphering.tv. I always say deciphering.tv because when I ping you on X, I just do at deciphering and it always pulls you up. So
totally understood. Yeah, website's the full blown deciphering.tv. And if anybody ever forgets, just write me a horrible comment and I'll remind you of what my website is.
Oh, that's hilarious. Actually, I have an old one of yours down at the bottom there. You were a source for one of my old stories. So deciphering.tv.
Oh, there you go. Look at you, super prepped. High level of production.
All right. Okay, everybody. Thank you for joining us again. It's been a blast. Be careful out there. Remember, if you think you're in the middle of a psychological operation, you're in control. That's all there is to it. You are in the driver's seat, and they're going to take you as far or as short as you let them. So just keep that in mind.
You can do it.
You can do it. On that note, we'll see y'all next time.
So long, everyone.